Yes, so we're going to start with the body awareness meditation. And this is a really important meditation. It's not a traditional one particularly, but it is really, really important to help us to relax and to let go of a lot of our busyness in our minds and in our bodies as well. Let go of restlessness and this sense of always being on the move and just being where we are and who we are. So it's just really a trip through the body, just exploring what we can feel. And I will talk us through it, but you may not feel all that I say you can feel. And that's okay. I don't want you to feel that that's wrong if you can't feel what I'm talking about. We're all different anyway. You may feel things that I don't. The main thing is to just stay open to whatever you can feel. And it might be different things to what I'm talking about. It might be the same things. But what we're doing is we're opening up. We're opening up our hearts and minds to the way we are. We spend so much time in our heads, in our minds, thinking about the past, planning the future, getting anxious, getting excited, getting distracted, that we miss our lives. So the whole point of this is that we come back to this moment in our lives, in our sensations, in our bodies. And it helps to ground us and relax us and set us up for the day. So I won't talk anymore, just to say hello to all those who joined, Karen and Beth and Kyan. Good to see you too. And anybody who joins us on the recorded video, you're very welcome as well. So we'll just settle down to begin with. Then I'm going to read a poem called Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. And then we'll do the practice. So just make yourself comfortable. You can lie on the bed. You can lie in the bed if you want. And if you fall asleep, that's okay. So just make yourself comfortable. You can sit on a chair, you can sit on the floor, you can lie on the floor, whatever your circumstances, whatever suits you. And you can do this with your eyes partly open or completely shut. Personally, I think for me, I always do it with my eyes closed because it just makes it nicer and easier and more effective for me. Okay, so just begin by just noticing we're here. You know, we get so caught up in our thoughts, don't we, that often we feel we're somewhere else. Well, we're not. We're here. We're here at 4 minutes past 8 on a Saturday morning. And you're sitting or lying, listening to me. And just noticing how you are doing that. How are you mentally? Are you feeling positive or not so positive or somewhere in between? And just being completely honest about how you are. You don't have to be any different to how you are. And how are you emotionally? Happy, sad, anxious, disappointed, anticipating something, joyful. Again, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's good if you're in a very positive state, a very enjoyable state. But whatever state you're in emotionally, just accepting that that's where you are for now. It will change. And how are you physically? You might have some aches. You might have a tightness, sluggishness in the body. You might feel very alive in the body. So wherever you are in the body, that's where we're starting from. So whatever state you're in, mentally, emotionally, physically, it's all right. We don't have to be any different to how we are at any moment. It's just the truth of the way things are. And we can set up conditions so that we retain positive states and turn negative states into positive states. We can set up conditions like this meditation to help us in the future. So noticing now the contact with the earth. You may be not touching the earth, you probably aren't. You could be in your bedroom or in your living room or somewhere in the house. But you are in contact with the earth, because wherever you're sitting or lying, whatever you're sitting or lying on is held by the earth. And the sense of gravity pulling you down, taking your weight down to the earth, and the earth supporting you. So just allowing that magical process to happen, not resisting, just giving up the weight of our bodies to the earth. Just beginning to feel into our being. And as you do this, you might notice the body moving very gently and rhythmically to the breath. So let's just look at that for a moment. Coming up to the chest area. Just feeling the lungs expanding with each in-breath. Pushing out the rib cage. And then the reverse. The contracting, the rib cage settling back. And just noticing that rhythm for a little while. This is a poem called Keeping Quiet. Now we will all count to 12, and we will all keep still. For once, on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. It would be an exotic moment. Without rush, without engines, we would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victories with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade, doing nothing. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I'll count up to 12, and you keep quiet, and I will go. So this is the body awareness meditation for about 30 minutes. And we'll begin at the shoulders. So just bringing your attention to your shoulders. And you might see what you can feel there. Maybe just sensations of tingling. There might be a tightness or an achiness. So just noticing that the shoulders are rising and falling as you breathe. Each time you breathe out, they seem to drop. So just letting any tension or tightness drop away each time you breathe out. Just relaxing each time the shoulders drop. And again the next time. Just letting go each time. And if there's still some tightness or achiness, just really focusing on it in a really kind way. Having a real sense of kindness to it. And in a way, breathing into it. Warming it up. Letting it relax. Moving up slightly to the neck area, and the same thing. There might be a tightness or an achiness. You might just move your head so that it's balanced more precisely on your spine. Straightening the back. And being comfortable but alert. And this in itself helps achiness. But if there's still some remaining, just having a sense of acceptance and kindness to it. Not getting into conflict with it, which makes it worse. Not fighting any unpleasant feelings that we encounter on this journey. Just giving them love. Moving up to the top of the head, the crown of the head. What can you feel here? You might feel the skin stretched over the skull. Just very subtle feeling of tightness. You might be able to feel a lot more than that, but this area's got very subtle feelings. And moving down to the forehead. I bet you're frowning. I am. And we do this. We go around with a frown on our forehead, a lot of us. So if you find a frown, just let it drop out. Just relax that forehead. Just stop holding it in a particular way. Let it relax completely. There. How does that feel? And the same thing with our faces. We tend to hold our faces in a particular way as we meet the world. So just letting them relax as well, letting your face sag, letting the skin sag, the muscles sag, just relaxing the whole face. Nobody's watching. And just feeling that sense of letting go. Just allowing the eyes be soft behind the eyelids. Just resting. The tongue to be relaxed in the mouth. And just letting the jaw drop slightly. And just enjoying this stillness and relaxation in the face for a moment. And moving down the throat now. We don't feel much in our throat usually unless it's sore. But you could swallow and see what you can feel. And then just looking a bit closer, seeing if you can notice any feelings in the throat. They're definitely there. If you can't feel them, that's fine. But just staying open to the possibility. And we're back to the shoulders. Still rising and falling. And just relaxing a little more on each out breath as the shoulders drop. Just letting any remaining tension drop away, any remaining cares. And if you find the mind interrupting with stories and thoughts, just letting that go too. It's what the mind does. We don't need to get caught up in it. We can just let it go as much as we can. and not get annoyed or irritated or upset if we can't. So we're going to go down the arms now, noticing the upper arms. What can you feel there? And the elbows, bony bits of the arm. It may be quite difficult noticing feelings in bone, but we certainly notice these bones if we hit them or bang them onto something and they hurt. But there is subtle feelings there when they don't hurt. Moving down to the lower arms. You might feel some tingling here. Or something else. Whatever you can feel, just noticing it. And moving to the wrist area of each arm. Just being really still and seeing if you can feel your pulse. Just gently beating away as the life-giving blood circulates in your body. Just the rhythm of your body in the pulse. Moving to the hands, the back of the hands. Now we've got lots of feeling in the hands. So on the back of the hands, maybe you can feel sort of tingling, or at least an aliveness. And on the palm of the hands, what can you feel there? Maybe tingling again, but also maybe a sense of warmth, maybe even dampness or clamminess. And what about the fingers? What can you feel in the fingers, especially right at the fingertips? Can you feel the tingling there, the energy in the fingers, tingling away, constantly moving, aliveness and energy. All the tactileness of the fingers, just ready to send signals back to us about the touch and softness and hardness and sensations of objects that we might touch. So we're moving back to the shoulders now, and we're going to go down the back of the body, beginning with the upper back, just noticing that this too is expanding and contracting as we breathe. As are the sides of the body. If there's any achiness in this part of the back or the lower back, just having a sense of acceptance of it and kindness, not getting into conflict with it, trying to get rid of it. That just makes it worse. Just really showering any discomfort with loving kindness. That really helps. Moving down to the lower back. What can you feel there? Can you feel anything much? And the hips, these big bony structures. Again, we feel them if they hurt, but can you feel your way into them if they're not hurting? Just getting some sense of the hips. And if you can't, that's okay. It's nothing to worry about. Just being open to discovering more sensations in the body. Moving round to the bottom and the sitting bones beneath. So the padding on our bottom keeps us comfortable when we're sitting. The sitting bones beneath that support us. So you might be able to feel the sitting bones, quite sharp feeling, coming into contact with whatever we're sitting on, and the mass of the bottom. Just this sense of aliveness there, touching whatever we're sitting or lying on. And maybe you can just have a look at that, because we think that when we touch something we can feel the object, but actually where is the sensations of the chair or the floor or the bed, whatever you're sitting or lying on? Where are the sensations of that? Are they actually in the chair or the bed or the floor, or are they in your body? It's a bit of a mystery, really. And it's one of the things we can explore about feelings. So moving down the legs at the back, beginning with the big muscles at the top of the leg, the hamstrings, probably quite relaxed, but there's lots of life in the hamstrings. They can be achy too, or they might feel vibrant and full of energy, or you might not be able to notice them. Just doing your best. Moving down to the area behind the knee. You feel into that. Quite difficult. So don't worry if you can't. And the calf muscles. These are quite big bundle of muscles. You might be able to feel some tingling there. And down to the ankle. Again, another bony bit. What can you feel? Anything? And the heel of the foot. You might begin to discern some tingling here on the heel. And as we move around to the sole of the foot, that tingling gets stronger and stronger. Just really tuning into the sole of the foot. This mass of nerve endings, mass of sensitivity. We know that because it's ticklish. So can you feel the energy in the sole of the foot? The tingling, the aliveness. Moving to the toes. What can you feel here? This isn't easy, I don't think. Well, for me anyway. You might be able to feel your big toe. I can do that. But the other toes, quite difficult to feel individually. For me anyway. So you might give them a wiggle. Just notice what that feels like. You can maybe feel your socks, if you've got socks on, and just slightly constricting the foot and the toes. Then moving to the upper foot, and perhaps you can notice either contact with clothing, or if you've got bare feet, maybe you can feel the air on your feet. Then moving up a little way to the shin bone. Can you feel anything here? You might feel clothing brushing the skin, or the air brushing the skin. Just being open to whatever's happening there. And moving up to the knee, another bony bit of the body. And we don't often think about feeling the knee unless it hurts again, and we definitely feel it. But it is bone and gristle, and maybe not so sensitive, but can you get some sense of it being there, these knees, these complicated joints? Moving to the front of the upper leg, the quadriceps. If you're sitting, these will be stretched slightly rather, not tightly, slightly. You can just feel them being pulled. If you're lying, they're probably relaxed. But just noticing what you can notice in here. There might be a slight achiness for some of us, or maybe a warmth, tingling. Moving up again to the belly this time. Now the belly and the abdomen. So these are two places where we have a lot of different feelings. It's where we experience the feelings that come with emotion quite often. And this can be all sorts of things. It can be a churning. It can be a heaviness or a lightness. It can be a sinking feeling. Might be tight or achy. And when our minds get emotional, our body responds with feelings like a tightness, a heaviness, a churning, a massive tingling. Excuse me. So if that happens, when that happens, we tend to think about them more. If we can just drop the thinking and be with the bare sensations in the belly and the abdomen, with a sense of acceptance and kindness, and just letting go of thoughts as much as possible, then what we find is that these feelings can begin to subside, these unpleasant feelings. So what are you feeling in the belly and the abdomen at the moment? It won't be one of three things. It'll be pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. So if it's unpleasant, just being kind to this bit of the body, showering it with loving kindness, accepting the unpleasant, the uncomfortable feelings, and nurturing them, cuddling up to them, stroking them. So you may not have any of those there at the moment. And just noticing what is happening in your belly and in your abdomen. And moving up to the chest area. Again, this is another place where emotions affect the body, usually with a sense of tightness. Again, the same thing, if we can be kind to that sense of tightness, if we can just give it love, then it will begin to relax a little. And what we tend to do is we tend to try and push away the unpleasant feelings, and that doesn't work. So what can you feel in your chest now? You might notice the rising and falling again as we breathe in and breathe out. And whatever else is there. So it's good if we can have a sense of loving kindness to the whole of our bodies. So just taking in the whole of your body and right now. The whole of your being. We tend to see our bodies as very solid and physical, but actually they're just a mass of feelings. So just noticing that as you sit here, if you tune in to the whole of your body, what there is a whole world of sensations. Constantly changing. Tingling aliveness. So for the last few moments, just really enjoying that. Enjoying this sense of your whole being. Well, that's it for now. I'll be back again in quarter of an hour at 9 o'clock to do following the breath meditation, staying in the present moment meditation, being here now meditation, you could say. So join me then if you want. If you can't, then have a really good weekend and a good day. I'll be back on Monday. Normally it's Kate, but she's away. So I'll be back on Monday at 8 o'clock to do a body scan again. So you could join me then, and at 11 in the morning for a morning cuppa meditation. So I just wanted to say, I hope you enjoyed that meditation. Particularly if you're a regular, if you feel you would like to donate a small amount towards Yacht Buddies Group, help us keep going, help us keep growing, we would really appreciate that. It doesn't have to be much. So if you'd like to make a donation, there's a link on the text with this video, or you can just go to our website, yachtbuddiesgroup.com, and you'll see a tab that says support us. So that's entirely up to you. You don't have to. You may not be able to afford to, and that's fine. But if you can, and if you feel like doing it, we would really love that. So I'll leave that with you anyway. And have a good day. Maybe see you again at 9. If not, see you again sometime. Love to you all.